we're at the Aztec ruins, and no, these were not actually built by the Aztecs, but they're called that because early white explorers who came to this region came across these ruins and thought they were from the 15th century, built by the Aztec civilization of Mexico, but they actually date back to the 12th century and were built by the indigenous tribes of this area.
Oh man, they're nice.
Now, although these ruins weren't built by the Aztecs, archaeologists have actually found evidence that the Aztecs from Mexico actually did come into the American Southwest to trade rubber with the indigenous tribes, but whether or not they traded this far north.
Hey, young, hey, young, yo, hey, 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 ya, hey, young, yo, hey, 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 ya, hey, young, way, hey, 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 yo, way, hey, hey.
I'm actually inside one of the rooms.
Watch for your head.
Why this space, please? Imagine how dark.
Oh, how amazing. I feel like I'm in an Indiana Jones movie in some sort of lost city. Oh. But look how short they were.
That's dzisiaj door was opening to the plaza, like that. So this was the original door.
Now this was an enormous walled village that contained around 400 rooms and over a dozen kivas.
Whoa.
This is what it would have looked like inside. This is a construction. You can tell this is relatively new, but anyways.
No, actually this was the place of Great Kiva.
And then here they would actually light a fire for their ceremonies and rituals.
Rytuał, czyli z tym Indiana Jones są dziewięć rytuały w Indiach.
We've stopped in Aztec to get gas, and we have this cool church right here. I'm gonna check it out really quick. I just love these New Mexico churches. Not sure if this one's 1946, so not that old, but still looks nice. I love these New Mexico churches. Oh man, nice habitat.
Jeleń czy sajka?
Oh. Sign. Oh man, nice habitat. I'm glad we came here. No wonder they call this place the land of enchantment. Wow. Oh. Oh, no. Right below us is the river, and that's where we just came from. Oh, it's so windy here. Over there is Navajo Lake. Beautiful. We've arrived at Navajo Lake. It took us a little longer to get here than I thought. It wasn't in our original plans, but we decided we're just gonna camp here for the night and head to Colorado in the morning. And this lake is making out 50 foot long. It actually runs on the border of Colorado and New Mexico. Oh man, it's so windy here. Oh wow, absolutely beautiful lake. Navajo Lake. Over there is where we're camping for the night. This campground is also really cheap. It only costs $14 for one night, so if you're traveling in the Four Corners, I highly recommend camping instead of staying hotels if you're on a tight budget, because it will definitely save you a lot of money, so camp as often as possible. morning at Navajo Lake. I'm heading down to check out the lake before we leave. And one last shot of New Mexico, the land of enchantment. And it really has enchanted me. The final leg of my journey takes me to Colorado, to the cliff dwellings of Mesa Verde. Mesa Verde has the largest concentration of archaeological sites anywhere in the U.S. Around 5,000 known ruins and 600 cliff dwellings are found in this small area of Colorado. The ancestral Pueblo made their home here from 600 to 1300 AD. When Spanish explorers first came across this area, they named it Mesa Verde, which in Spanish means green table.
All the national parks, if you're senior, you put in a workout.
Yeah.
They pay you, they give you room and board. That'd be a nice thing, you know, you just travel around and you go to each one every year.
Mm-hmm.
Last time we were here 7 years ago, that's when they had the big fire here.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
We're at the Spruce Tree House ruins, and they were constructed between 1211 and 1278, and is actually the third largest dwelling in the park. Contains about 130 rooms, 8 kivas, and between 60 to 80 people lived here. And I also heard that this one is the best preserved dwelling in the park. Now these dwellings were excavated in 1908 and were actually named because there used to be a huge Douglas fir tree here, which the Indians would use to get down into the dwelling.
So that's what these letters are. These are called kivas. You get to go down one later.
Roots have been restored by the National Park Service. The purpose of the kiva will be explained at some point.
I am done. Now what you're saying.
The three-story building. And the left has very grown and back of wall. See, there's some plaster there. See, so the plaster, the building with plaster. See, there's some plaster there. You see the design?
No, but you can if you follow the steps there and you can see all the way back. And along the way it's called Main Street.
One in 1909 when the cycles first opened, the other one's
I'm going down into a kiva.
But that's where
Can I go with him?
so this was this the main site?
Yeah, possibly the. And this is where they would conduct their religious ceremonies. So, come here, man. Let's get out of here. Come here. Right below us is a square tower, inhabited between 1200 and 1300, and was actually 4 stories tall, and the people who lived here actually carved hand holds and toe holds into side of this sandstone so that they could get to it easily, and they would have their fields right above the dwellings. Square tower. Okay, this behind me is the Sun Temple. It was built in a D shape, and the walls were about 14 foot high. And the ancestral pueblo left this area in 1276, so they never actually finished it. Oh, right down there you can see the famous cliff palace, the most famous cliff dwelling in Mesa Verde, and is also the largest cliff dwelling in North America. And it dates back to about 700 years, and it contained over 150 rooms and more than 23 kivas. From the canyons of Arizona to the natural bridges of Utah, the ruins of New Mexico, and the cliff dwellings of Colorado, traveling through the four corners has truly been an amazing adventure, and better than I ever thought it would be. It just goes to show you that you don't have to travel to another country to see amazing ruins and learn about lost ancient cultures, because sometimes the most exciting stuff is just a step away from your backyard.